This video is brought to you by Aaron Clary, author of The Curse of the High IQ, all of our wonderful fans on Patreon, and viewers like you. Thank you.
The following is a world-class Bullshitters exclusive.
Hello everyone, welcome to This Week in Star Wars for the week of May the 6th. As you watch this, it's probably Mother's Day. How are you spending Mother's Day? Are you taking mom to brunch, or are you buying her a card? Maybe a gift. How about beating her with a lightsaber? That's what this man did. Police in Pennsylvania say a man turned to the dark side and allegedly beat his own mother with a Star Wars lightsaber. Andrew Vargas, 42, was arrested and charged with assault and harassment after officers found his 75-year-old mother, Joan, bleeding from her head. EMS workers and the Sandy Township Police Department were reportedly called to the home on April 27th to deal with Mrs. Vargas, who was allegedly having mental health issues. By the time officers arrived, an ambulance was already treating the elderly woman's injuries. Joan stated that her son hit her repeatedly with what she called a lightsaber. Police reported in court records. Officers added that the son began striking her with the lightsaber in the head, on her back and neck area, and on the wrist, but the mother did not know why he attacked her. The 42-year-old denied attacking his mother and alleged that the senior citizen struck herself because of her many issues. The Jedi mind trick did not work on the officers who took Vargas to Clearfield County Jail. According to the Smoking Gun, the saber-wielding criminal has been previously arrested for theft, drunk driving, and criminal trespass. I can't imagine why he would do this. Was his childhood that bad, or is he just that big of a piece of shit? Or is the real culprit the Last Jedi? Whatever the case may be, fuck that guy. Remember folks, Rose Tico is bad, but abusing the elderly is way worse. While we're on the topic of things that aren't good, the Solo premiere happened Thursday night, and the reviews, they're tepid at best. According to USA Today, Solo: A Star Wars Story premiere earns mixed reactions. Film is kinda a blast. Stars Alden Ehrenreich, Donald Glover, and Emilia Clarke heralded the first public view of director Ron Howard's Solo: A Star Wars Story at the Hollywood World premiere Thursday night. The spin-off Star Wars features a young Han Solo befriending his future co-pilot Chewbacca and meeting the notorious gambler Lando Calrissian. Official reviews will be released on May 15th, but premiere attendees tweeted out their first reactions to the movie. USA Today's Carly Mallenbaum praised Ehrenreich and Glover, but yearned to see what original directors Chris Miller and Phil Lord, who were fired during filming, would have made. And you can read the tweet below. RottenTomatoes.com editor Joel Mears called it kinda a blast. Wow. Just come out of Solo: A Star Wars Story and can confirm it was kinda a blast. Donald Glover was perfect as expected, but Alden Ehrenreich has swagger to match and spare. Entertainment Weekly's Anthony Brezican pointed out the rough edges in the movie, but felt that director Ron Howard pulled it off. Solo thoughts: blast, like the Falcon, a few rough edges getting there, but I thought Ron Howard pulled it off as neatly as Wookiees remove arms. Collider.com's Perry Nemiroff wrote, "There's some fun to be had while praising Ehrenreich and Glover. But she's also not convinced that they needed a young Han Solo movie. She was also really hoping for higher stakes, more energy, and depth." Collider.com video editor Dennis Zhang called it mostly fun, but added it would never be one of his favorite Star Wars films. It seems like fun is the code word for, it's okay, you should go see it, but we warned you. I'm particularly surprised to see that Collider is not weeping in tears at the greatness that is Solo: A Star Wars Story. Maybe Disney didn't pay them enough. Maybe they're just trying to avoid being called shills. Like this is all part of the plan. You know, they come out and say, well, the Solo movie's not too good, so you can't call us shills because we criticized a Star Wars film. But conveniently, it doesn't fall in line with the narrative of the Saga trilogy about the female empowerment that Kathleen Kennedy's trying to make. They're two-faced about it. They can avoid coming off as sexist, and they can try to avoid being called shills. But looking back at their history, I'm going to say that they're still shills, no matter what. Maybe Disney isn't trying to control the narrative on this one. Or maybe, by allowing it to fail, they secretly are. I mean, look how happy George Lucas was to be there. Speaking of secrets, Jon Favreau's Star Wars series is no longer one. According to Newsarama, Jon Favreau's live-action Star Wars television series will be set 7 years after Return of the Jedi. In an interview on the red carpet world premiere of Solo: A Star Wars Story, Nerdist senior editor Dan Casey reported that Favreau disclosed that and more. And as you can see, the tweet is right here. The Star Wars series is scheduled to air on Disney's as yet unnamed digital streaming service, which itself is scheduled to launch in 2019. Interesting, but why didn't Dan Casey look Jon Favreau in the eye and tell him to let the past die? Speaking of interesting, I find it interesting that Disney plans on using the Jungle Book technology to bring this series to the screen. They have to be sinking a lot of money into this series to pull off those visuals consistently. It's all in hopes of beefing up their streaming services, which is confirmed to cost you your firstborn. Right arms are not accepted. So on one front, you have Rian Johnson and Kathleen Kennedy telling you that subverting your expectations is good and that you need to let the past die, But again, we're going back to Star Wars, the original trilogy era, 7 years after the original trilogy, which makes it 11 years after the Battle of Yavin. And from a business standpoint, that's great. But like I said earlier, Disney, you can't have it both ways. You can't shit on us and then expect us to be supportive of going back to the era that we all know and love. Why couldn't you have done this with the sequel saga? Does anyone really need the story of Rey, Kylo Ren, Finn, Poe Dameron, Admiral Holdo? I think not. We covered the rumors of the Obi-Wan Kenobi film on the latest episode of the podcast, but if you missed it, here it is again. In a Fantha Tracks exclusive, we can reveal that the studio-based pre-production has officially begun on an Obi-Wan Kenobi Star Wars movie, and that filming will take place in 2019 for a 2020 release. The long-rumored movie has never been officially announced, but a director, long-rumored to be Stephen Daldry, and a writing team are understood to have been working on the movie since late last year. However, our well-placed source has seen sight of documents that confirm the following. The project is sufficiently along that an art department is now fully in pre-production mode at Pinewood Studios, England, with ancillary work being carried out at Industrial Light and Magic in London. A number of concept artists, prop modelers, and storyboard artists are working as a team across 2 locations on the film, with the group growing in numbers every month. Contracts have also been extended to a number of crew who have worked on various Star Wars films produced at Pinewood Studio under Disney to join the production when their work on Episode 9 ends. This will see the Obi-Wan crew growing gradually over the remainder of the year, but primarily from October onwards. Pre-production will continue at Pinewood whilst Episode 9 shoots from this summer through the end of the year, at which point production of the Obi-Wan movie has been scheduled to move on to stages in mid-January 2019, with the main shoot to begin on April of 2019. The project is being developed under the corporate name PLT Productions, UK Limited. The scheduled release is December 2020. The documents do not reveal any details on casting. The news comes 5 years to the day that Lucasfilm announced production on Episode 7 would take place at the same location, Pinewood Studios. It's bizarre how I look back with almost reverence for Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan Kenobi. The prequels are movies, but Ewan really elevated what was given to him, and I hope that if this film has to get made, it's made with him in the lead. I couldn't imagine someone else playing Obi-Wan Kenobi. I know people would say, well, I couldn't imagine anyone but Alec Guinness playing Obi-Wan Kenobi. And yeah, that's true, but I don't recall anyone truly hating Ewan McGregor's portrayal as Obi-Wan. And as he stated earlier in the year, he's ready and willing to play him again. And now for something fun. Each week, I'm going to do my best to share a dumb piece of Star Wars merchandise with you. This week, Kotobukiya Star Wars kitchenware. So I found this over on rebelscum.com. This is cute, I guess. So we have a Millennium Falcon dinner plate for kids. We also have a Landspeeder dinner plate for kids. And in the photo, you can see what looks to be rice and some kind of chicken in a sauce. And in the Millennium Falcon, we see breakfast food. Well, what is this? Meatloaf? Vienna sausages? Flan? Fried shrimp? Like, what is this? Tell me in the comments section what these people are eating. But here's something I do know a lot about eating. Pancakes. And as of now, you can get officially licensed Star Wars Darth Vader and BB-8 pancake pans. So if your dreams and nightmares aren't haunted by Star Wars, your breakfast can be infested by it too. I'm not really sure if this has a place in my kitchen, but then again, I am guilty of owning the Williams-Sonoma Star Wars cookie cutter set. But hey, I bought it before The Force Awakens came out. One final piece of news I almost forgot to mention was that the tracks for Solo: A Star Wars Story have been released. As you can see in front of you, there are 20 tracks on the soundtrack, and they're titled The Adventures of Han, Meet Han, Corellia Chase, Spaceport, Flying with Chewie, Train Heist, Marauders Arrive, Chicken in the Pot, Is This Seat Taken, L3 and Millennium Falcon, Lando's Closet, and Who's Coming Out of It, Mind Mission, Breakout, The Good Guy, Reminiscence Therapy, Into the Mall, Savareen Standoff, Good Thing You Were Listening, Testing Allegiance, and finally, Dice and Roll. So it gives you a general idea of how the story is going to play out. Through the merchandise, I kind of figured out how the film would play out. It starts on Corellia, he meets this girl, and then he meets all the other characters throughout it. But the Landspeeder chase is probably the beginning of the film. These pieces of information always come out early, and that's fine. I don't think it really spoils anything. It gives you an idea of phrases that will be said in the film, like Good Thing You Were Listening is probably going to be a phrase said by Kira's character to Han Solo. Lando's Closet will probably be a comedy scene. It's interesting to see if the train heist will be fairly early in the film. I always thought it would be towards the end of the film, but I guess the Millennium Falcon into the mall, the Kessel Run, is the end of the film. So that's it for this week in Star Wars. Thank you to everyone who tuned in this week. I had a bunch of positivity on last week's episode, so I'm a man of my word, and I brought it back to you fine people. I'll be back next week with more This Week in Star Wars, but before you go, make sure you subscribe to this channel, hit the little bell notification icon, and join our Facebook pages for all the news and updates from world-class bullshitters. If you're a super fan of this channel and you'd really like to help entertainment change and grow, join our Patreon page. $1 a month goes a long way. $5, which is only 17 cents a day, goes even further. And with that, you get access to hundreds of hours of digital content, exclusive post-show podcasts like World Class Bullshitters After Hours, commentaries, roundtable discussions, and we talk about stuff we can't necessarily talk about over here on YouTube because of their policies. But if you can't afford to do that, not a problem. Just keep watching the videos, spreading the word of World Class Bullshitters, and being you. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you. No. I'm not going to end it like that. That's not World Class Bullshitter style. Thanks for watching, and live long and prosper. No, that's not it either. Thanks for watching, and that's the bottom line because... Nope. Copyright infringement. Fuck it. It's really not that important, it's not really groundbreaking, but it is This Week in Star Wars, and I had to share it.